Just like I did last year, I'm going to be making 2023 MLB division predictions. I made them last year. They weren't very spot on. I got a little aggressive, we can call it, with predicting teams to make massive improvements on their season. This year, I've put a little bit more thought into it. It's still very early. A lot can go on in the off season. A lot of guys unsigned yet, but we'll start. We'll start by saying who is going to win the American League East, and this is a lot of bias, but as you all know, I'm a Yankees fan, and so that's why I have the New York Yankees winning the American League East this season. They re-signed Aaron Judge, they added Carlos Rodon, and that's really all I need to see. I think other teams in that division regress. Tampa hasn't really done anything, but they're always going to do something simple, something interesting. Boston doesn't scare me at all anymore. The Blue Jays, I think, made a bad move for trading Lourdes Gurriel for Dalton Varsho, but the Orioles are here. They are definitely on the come up, but I still think it is the Yankees division. I think they're similar to the Astros of last year, where they have a really good team, and it all is going to be kind of determined on the X factor, and that being a rookie shortstop for the Yankees. It could be Anthony Volpe this season. We saw what Jeremy Pena did last year, especially against the Yankees, destroying them. I think that gives the Yankees a lot of confidence to start their rookie shortstop, but I think that's going to be the biggest factor. They've continuously not chosen to go after shortstops in free agency. They've stuck with what they got. They got good players around. They've got a good rotation. I think the best in baseball, and that's why I think they will comfortably win the American League East this season. I could see them winning it by 10 plus games. Moving on to the National League East, we have the Atlanta Braves winning the division. In my opinion, they're just the best team. I think the Mets are good, but with their age, I just don't see them being able to put together the amount of wins needed to win this division. You have the Phillies, who are really competitive, and you have, along with the Mets, and then you have the two teams at the bottom, the Marlins and the Nationals, that are pretty much just free wins. And I think the Braves are just, with the youth that they have, they're able to stick together and have these guys play 162 games. I think that's issues the Mets are going to have, is guys not being able to play full seasons, especially pitching wise. They've got the oldest starting pitchers in the game, who are still very, very good, and that's why I think the Mets will be dangerous in the playoffs. But I think they're gonna almost limp there, I guess to say, and the Mets will be like in that 90 to 100 range for wins, making a wild card just like they did, and the Braves are gonna be more in that 100 win tier, looking to do some damage in the playoffs as well. But I think the Mets are the better team. But regular season speaking, I think the Braves are the better team, and there's a difference there. We've seen it lots of years where teams go from the wild card. It happens in other sports too, where just the older teams don't play as hard until the postseason comes around. That's what I see with the Mets here. The American League Central, this is one of probably the worst division in baseball, but the Cleveland Guardians are one of the best teams that nobody is talking about. This team almost knocked out the Yankees. They probably could have. They've got just a really good team. Like this, if you had to be a player, or got to be a player, I should say, and you picked a team to play on, this has to be the most fun team. They remind me a lot of the Royals team that made it to the World Series and back-to-back years and had like the dominance with their speed and their defense. This team plays great defense and has great speed, but they also have two really, really good switch hitters now, adding Josh Bell to go along Jose Ramirez, who's the best switch hitter in baseball. If their pitching can just be a little more solid, I think they'll be scary in the playoffs. But as far as winning the division goes, the White Sox don't really concern me. They're an old team, and then the rest of that division, the Twins, Royals, and Tigers are just not even a threat. Easy win division for the Cleveland Guardians. Moving on to the NL Central, I've got the St. Louis Cardinals. I called the Brewers to win the division last year, but I think the Cardinals are going to be even better this year. I think I shouldn't say getting rid of, but the moving on from Yadier Molina and Albert Pujols is almost like less of a distraction for this team. And as good as those guys were and as amazing careers and first ballot Hall of Famers that they are, I just think they're going to be a bit better without them around, without just a younger team. You don't have to worry about it. The media coverage for them won't be there. Just that simple thing. They got Nolan Arenado. They got Goldschmidt. They're a really good team. They had really good rookies last year that'll continue to keep developing forward, keep moving forward. This team's going to be really good. They didn't really lose anybody besides those older guys, but I think they're going to be really good, and they can win the division. I don't see them going far in the playoffs. I think the East and the West in the National League is just too much better than the Central, but I definitely think the Cardinals will win their division this year. Moving on to the AL West, this is one of those divisions where I really wanted to pick somebody besides Houston. I wanted to pick Seattle, but they remind me of the Padres and the Dodgers, this Seattle and this Houston little rivalry they got going on here. The Mariners aren't just quite aren't there yet. I know the Astros lost Justin Verlander and they could have a World Series hangover and not put together a really good regular season. I just don't think it's going to happen this year. They're still a really good team. Jeremy Pena is amazing. He looks like he's going to be a stud for the next 10 to 15 years. But just who knows? This team is really good. I don't like them. I want to pick somebody else, but Houston is just so much better than anybody else. You almost want to say the Angels could sneak in there, but that's what I said last year, and they've just never given any sort of promise to be able to do that. They had the one good win streak, but by the summertime they were completely out of the race. The Astros just quietly always win this division. They start off around 500, and then by the end of the year you look and they're 30 games over 500, and you blink an eye and you missed it. This team is just that dominant, and they're going to continue to win the division. And as a Yankees fan, I don't like seeing them win the division, and I'm sure everybody else in the league's sick of this team winning, but they keep winning, and they're here to stay. That's what winners do. They keep on winning, and with Jeremy Pena like almost resetting their clock, they're going to be good for a couple more years. They just got to develop some pitching to replace Verlander. National League West, our last division here, kind of like the Mariners and the Astros. You have this Padres-Dodgers lineup, and this time I'm going to take the Padres over the Dodgers. Dodgers, they got some interesting stuff going on as of right now, especially with this Trevor Bauer situation. Who knows what's going to go on there? But I just think that with losing Trey Turner and the Padres getting better, adding Xander Bogaerts, and having Juan Soto for a full season this year, I just think they're going to be better. They're going to get Tatis back at some point. That could be a distraction. It could hurt them, but it's most likely going to help them. He's a really good player. And I'm going to take the Padres to win the division. The Dodgers killed them in the division last year, and there's a lot of teams at the bottom of that division that really don't threaten anybody. So a lot of free wins, just like the NL East, to be handed out over there. But I think the Padres are the better team. I think the Padres could be a team that maybe adds Trevor Bauer. Their front office seems to just throw money at everybody, and if they do that as another starting pitcher, because I think that's their weakness is starting pitcher. But this offense that they have with Soto and Bogarts and Machado and Tatis once he gets back is just impressive, and you got to pick this team to win a division. And who knows how far they'll go in the playoffs. They had a great run this year. It'll be fun. They're definitely one of the more fun teams to watch. One of the more fun teams to watch. It sucks being on the East Coast with all their games late, but they're a really fun team, and I think they're going to have another really good season. And so that pretty much wraps up my division predictions. I got in the AL we got the Yankees, the Guardians, and the Astros, and in the NL we got the Braves, the Cardinals, and the Padres. Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know what you guys think, and we will see how this pans out at the end of the season.